Can you let me know when we're good?
I will.
Okay.
Not yet. You can go ahead.
Okay. I call this the 8th meeting of the 63rd session to order at 7:05 p.m. on September 23rd, 2020. We have taken roll as people have arrived. And I would like to start off our meeting with the swearing in of our new senators for the last couple weeks. So if you have not done your swearing in, please leave your camera on. Everyone else, please turn your camera off if you have been sworn in. Is that everyone who needs to be sworn in?
Yes.
Okay, will you share your screen, Gabe, with the thing? Perfect, so please raise your right hand and repeat after me. You can unmute yourself if you are being sworn in. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, hereby swear
I, Jessica Allen, hereby swear
that I will faithfully serve
that I will faithfully serve
the students of Wichita State University,
the students of Wichita State University,
act in accordance with
act in accordance with
the Constitution of the student body,
the Constitution of the student body,
and fulfill all duties and responsibilities
and fulfill all duties and responsibilities
required of the office of
required of the Office of Applied Studies. Great.
I will,
I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the student body of Wichita State University.
the
Constitution
Constitution
of
of the student body of Wichita State University.
Great, thank you all very much. Congratulations. Welcome to Senate.
Thank you.
Everyone can turn their mics on or turn your mics off and restart your cameras. I do need everyone to turn their camera back on. We are required to have our cameras on during Senate meetings. Great. We can now move on to public forum. No one has spoken to us in advance about speaking in public forum, so there is no public forum for this evening, and we can now move on to the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
Senator Tubak with a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Senator Sines with a second. All those in favor, please click the little green yes button on your Zoom screen. Yeah, Hunter, if on your little picture, there's little 3 dots, you can click there and hit rename. Still waiting for 7 people to vote. All right, with 42 in favor, 0 against, and 5 abstentions, that passes. We can now move on to the approval of the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda at this time? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Senator Majors,
With a motion to approve the agenda.
Senator Majors with a motion to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Senator Scheer with a second. As there are no items in the consent agenda, we will move on to unfinished business. Item A, the clerk will read.
Item A is FB 63-007, WSU First Generation Student Organization Fundraiser, introduced by Senator John Kirk for himself. To authorize the allocation of $70 to OF-001 WSU First Generation Student Organization. It's referred to Committee of the Whole from Budget and Finance. It is laid upon the table now with a simple majority vote required.
Thank you. As we finish the questioning period at last week's meeting, we will now move into debate on this item. Would anyone like to speak in favor of this bill? Seeing none, would anyone like to speak in negation of this bill? Senator Majors.
With a motion to pass by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to the motion to adopt by unanimous consent? Please raise your hand on your Zoom screen. Seeing none, this bill passes with the unanimous consent of the Senate. We can now move on to new business. Item A, the clerk will read.
Item A is SB 63-055, appoint Jacob Kress to the position of at-large senator, introduced by Vice President Haas along with Speaker Olivia Babin for themselves. By the authority vested in her as Vice President, by the Constitution and the laws of the Wichita State University Student Government Association, direct the appointment of Jacob Kress to the position of at-large senator. This is referred to Committee of the Whole. It is laid upon the table with a 2/3 vote required.
Thank you, Clerk Fox. Vice President Haas, would you like to give an authorship speech of this bill?
Yeah, so Jacob reached out to me a while back and has started doing work about student fees and just transparency regarding student fees. He was curious as a student and then decided to apply to the Senate in order to make some changes and make sure that we are ensuring transparency as the Student Government Association, but also at a university level. So I think he would be a great fit.
Thank you, Vice President Haas. Jacob, would you like to give a speech about yourself?
Sure. So like Vice President Haas said, my name is Jacob Kress. I'm from Wichita, Kansas. I went to Wichita High School East. I went to KU where I earned a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. Then I decided to transfer to Wichita State to earn another bachelor's in industrial engineering and then to pursue a PhD degree. So as Vice President Haas did mention, we started off conversating our conversation this semester in Accounting 210, where I found out that students are actually now being forced to pay supplemental fees in order to ensure that proctoring for their exams does take place inside the course. I question that, especially given that some of the specific line items in some of the documents that she did release to me indicated that there was already a contingency fund put in place to cover unexpected online fees. And exactly the university, or I guess in my opinion, if a university can't proctor the assessment and they can't ensure its validity, at what point do students actually need to pay for basically that privilege themselves, especially given that we already paid the extra online fee, we paid full tuition and things like that. So that's how it started. I've also done a lot of work on transfer credit. Transferring back from KU has been somewhat of a painful process. And in 2 months of arbitration, I've gotten some ground and made some improvements to the system, but I'm hoping that my presence here will allow us all to make sure that the whole system will really add oomph to it, because one person versus a department gets you so far. Hopefully an entire group of people like a student senate body gets us a little bit farther, but that's me.
Thank you, Jacob. Does anyone have any questions for the nominee? Great, seeing none. Thank you very much, Jacob. You can either stay or leave for debate, whatever makes you most comfortable. So we will now move into the debate period on this item. Does anyone like to speak? Would anyone like to speak in affirmation of this bill? Senator Sines.
Yeah, just want to take a moment. I loved what he had to say. I think that he'll make great headway with the organization, and he seems really well thought out with what he hopes to accomplish, and I'm in favor for this bill.
Thank you, Senator Sines. Would anyone like to speak in negation of this nominee? Seeing none, would anyone like to speak in affirmation of this nominee? Senator Mounts.
I will definitely be voting in favor. The nominee in question has already made it apparent that they are trying to do as much work as they can to help protect students and look out for students. I very much look forward to having this person in Senate and having their voice at the table. So I will be voting yes.
Thank you, Senator Mounts. Would anyone like to speak in negation on this nominee? Seeing none, would anyone like to speak in affirmation of this nominee? Senator Sines?
With a motion to pass by unanimous consent.
With a motion to pass by unanimous consent, are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, this motion passes by the unanimous consent of the Senate. Congratulations, Jacob. You are now a senator in the 63rd session. We can now move on to item B. The clerk will read.
Item B is SB 63-055, appoint Samarit Kaur to the position of Business Senator, introduced by Vice President Haas, along with Speaker Olivia Babin for themselves. By the authority vested in her as Vice President, by the Constitution and the laws of the Wichita State University Student Government Association, direct the appointment of Samarit Kaur to the position of Business Senator. Refer to Committee of the Whole. It is laid upon the table with a 2/3 vote required.
Vice President Haas, would you like to give an authorship speech?
Yeah, Samarit talked a lot about various goals that she has to be within the Student Senate, and just utilizing this as a platform to get involved and help out fellow students. And she's very passionate about it, and I'm excited to have her.
Thank you very much, Vice President Haas. Samarit, would you like to give a speech about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hello, I'm Simarjit Kaur, and I'm from India. My major is international business. And I have applied for this position because I was so interested to know the students' problem and what should we do in further meetings and all stuff.
Thank you very much, Simarjit. Does anyone have any questions for the nominee? Senator Kirk.
Hi, so I guess one question that I would have is what, in your own words, are some problems that you might want to attack head on by coming in? Or how would you like to best serve the Senate?
As we know that in this pandemic, students are facing a lot of problems regarding finance and regarding housing, and even regarding their studies as well. They are facing a lot of troubles regarding technological things. So I think I will first go for the financial problems and their study problem that they are feeling distracting, and even whenever they talk. Even they are more uncomfortable to walk around the neighborhood and even attending the classes in person. So I will go for first to solve these problems, because some of students have as a they have a thinking that we shouldn't go for the class and we shouldn't do this. So I will first go tell them that there is no such big risk if we are protecting ourselves and if we are working well. So regarding finance, I think I will help them by suggesting them ways how they can manage their expenses and all stuff. I think that kind of problems I will attack more.
Thank you, Simarjit. Are there any other questions for the nominee? Seeing none, thank you very much for your time, Simarjit. You can either stay or leave for debate, whatever would make you most comfortable. We will now move into the debate period at this time. Would anyone like to speak in affirmation of this nominee? Senator Kirk.
I really have to admire her for coming in and saying, like, she wants to learn more. She wants to be able to do everything and anything that she can for the student body as a whole. And then she does have like specific ideas and a plan on what she wants to do when she gets in. So to me, that says a lot about her as an individual, coming in saying that this is what I want to do. If I cannot do that, then I will do something else because I want to be able to help the whole student body. I will definitely be voting yes for this nominee.
Thank you, Senator Kirk. Is there anyone who would like to speak in negation of this nominee? Seeing none, is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation of this nominee? Senator Warden.
Hi. So I actually was able to get along with Samarzit during last semester before the whole pandemic hit. Her and I actually had a class together and we used to hang out a lot in the dorm rooms. And she was not afraid to come up and ask any sort of questions regarding whether or not she's doing all right in the class or if she just needed help, because being somewhere you're not used to being, especially for before a pandemic, is definitely a crazy thing. But she is a very determined person regarding whatever class or field she's taking, and I trust that she's going to be an amazing senator if she is voted in. So I motion to the thing of the unanimous consent.
Adopt by unanimous consent?
Yes.
Yes. So Senator Warden with a motion to adopt by unanimous consent. Are there any objections to this motion at this time? Seeing none, congratulations, Simarjit. You are now a senator in the 63rd session. This bill passes. We can now move on to item C. Sorry, go ahead, Simarjit.
I said thank you.
Thank you. We can now move on to item C. The clerk will read.
Item C is FB 63-008, Seema Barhini, individual funding, introduced by Senator Sahani Jitin for herself. Objective is to authorize allocation of $100 to Seema Barhini for an engineering conference. Refer to Committee of the Whole from Budget and Finance. This is the first read, so no vote is required.
Senator Jitin, would you like to give a speech about this bill?
So yeah, Seema is a PhD student in industrial engineering working at the intersection of the Bayesian networks and quantum computing. Seema came to us and requested $100 to attend a conference where she will be also presenting her research paper. This will be a great opportunity for her to connect with other researchers from the same field and expand her study in this area. And I'm open for questions.
Are there any questions for the author? Seeing none, thank you very much, Senator Jitin. Because this is a first read, we will move into the debate and voting period on this bill at the next meeting. We obviously won't talk about anything that has been referred to committee, but there are a lot of important bills in committee right now. I encourage you all to look over those. We have a couple new versions of those that will be coming onto the floor next week. Next week, we have some really important bills, so be on the lookout for those. Do your due diligence, reviewing them, being prepared to ask questions. Okay, we can now move into officer reports. I will go first. So this week, I actually had a really busy week. I met with a lot of different people. Hold on one second. I forgot to pull up my page. But I met with the Black Student Union Exec Board. I have been talking about the role of social media in Senate with with the PR team for SGA and with the leadership. I presented about the student constitution on a Constitution Day panel. I met with the Culture of Voting for the Shockers Vote Coalition. I attended and presented an award at the Shocker Leadership Awards. I met with Asian Student Conference, and I performed all the other duties of my position, which is a lot of boring clerical work that no one really cares about. So does anyone have any questions for me about what I have done this week? Very cool. We can now move on to item B. Senator Flores, your report.
Yeah. This week, I had a meeting with Vice President Hawes to discuss like a number of things, like the potential for having like a community fridge on campus, as well as having potentially like a domestic hardship fund, as well as clearing up language regarding the already existing McKinney-Vento Scholarship Fund that SGA has, and working on like how to make it more accessible and to advertise it better to students who are homeless, just because McKinney-Vento is like saying that almost no one would know that it's like for homeless people. So to try and just like work on that. I also have been a little bit busy because the High Holy Days has started, which is just like a bunch of Jewish holidays, like just back to back to back. So I've been really busy with that. I also have just been trying to like work on how to really like move the committee forward, and sort of just change the direction from like in previous sessions where it's been like events that have happened, to try and focus on more like substantial like policy that we can try and push through, as well as like having conversations like with administration and other important officials like at the university, just because like we have like so many great student organizations that already do so many great events and have so many more resources and experience. Like they kind of already have it handled, and also just to figure out ways that we can support them, you know, financially through like promoting them on social media instead of trying to do like our own thing with a committee of less than 10 people. Yeah, just had like a couple of one-on-one meetings with some of my senators and trying to schedule that out. So yeah, I think that's probably about it, unless anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Senator Flores. Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, we can move on to item C. Senator Liu, your report.
So last week I met with the Director of Public Relations about beginning discussions on creating a diversity-based class, like talk about diversity issues as a gen ed requirement. That's something that he said he'll bring up with the cabinet, and we'll see where that leads. Another thing I've been working on was getting the more students knowledge about the student advocate and what they do. And then with that being said, we reached out to the individuals who are in charge of the mandatory syllabus policies, and they told us that they can put the students and advocates information on it. We just need to give them what we want to say and it'll be on it. So hopefully that is on it within the next couple weeks. And one of the last things that I also continue to research the possibility, do research into income share agreements and the possibility of it coming to WSU and how it might impact students. And that is my report for this week.
Thank you, Senator Liu. Are there any questions, Senator Flores?
Yeah, this isn't really like a question, but I don't know. I just like thought that like the student advocate like information was like already provided on syllabuses, or should be, because that's like what I've heard from like other various people like last year. So I'm just like confused on that.
My internet dropped for like 5 seconds in the middle of your question.
Is it cool if I just re-ask?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
sorry.
Okay. No, I think I remember like something last year where people spoke about how we should get like the student advocates information like on like syllabuses that are being provided, but I believe someone was like, that already happens, or it should happen already. Like that's the student advocate information should be provided. So I don't know. I just had like, I'm just confused about that. I don't know how to word it as like a question. I'm sorry.
From like when I go on the website that has the mandatory syllabus and policy and procedures, basically on the bottom every syllabus like what it is, there's no information about the student advocate or academic appeals on it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I just thought like I remember like someone saying that it should be like included
Yeah.
on things like last year.
So let me jump in really quick to clarify. So yes, but not everyone has done it. And so I think this effort, especially with the changes that they've made to the syllabi, I don't know, what people have to put on the actual ones. Yes, it is a thing that should have been on there. This was just to confirm and to make sure that it continues to be on there. And it was also a hit or miss with some faculty as well. But our hope is that they see this and will now put it on there and it will be there forever.
Are there any other questions for Senator Liu? Great, seeing none, we can move on to item D. Senator Hull, your report.
Hi, everyone. So the regular schmuggler things of setting up hearings for those budget requests, honestly, that takes up a lot of time of my allotted hours. And then we've also come up with, as a committee, a way for students who can't attend our meeting times in order to still have their hearings. So they'll record a video and then they'll submit it so our whole committee can see it. Just because we want the whole committee in the decision, not just two of us, which is what they did previous years. We're still looking into that hardship fund information. We should have an update next week for y'all. And then I'm personally working on looking at to see if we can get like a kiosk for laptops and having it in the RSC. So there's another location for students to be able to work in because the library might not be a space that they want to work in, or they might not have any laptops, so just having a different option would be really great. And then I met with the SGA budget team to discuss where we are budget-wise within the whole SGA with funding and all of those types of things. So, and then just the regular other duties as assigned. So.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Senator Hull? Great, seeing none, we can move on to item E. Senator Day, your report.
All right. Hello, everyone. My report is not super long this week, but we'll see how it goes. In terms of the mundane stuff I did, I contacted the General Counsel of Wichita State last week, and I got a response today. And it regarded the sunflower article that most of you have probably heard of, that many students are very concerned about, where as I understand it, the university is not allowed to disclose information to students about certain contexts about who has tested positive. Like even general information, like an instructor cannot tell the students in their class that they have been exposed, and due to contact tracing rules. So I contacted the general counsel about that. I got a reply today. It's a little long, but basically what she said is that the definition of contact tracing in the state of Kansas, due to a law passed earlier this year by the state legislature and signed by the governor, has a very broad definition of contact tracing that makes it very difficult for anything to be done outside of the county health department. So there's that. If you have any more specific questions, just let me know. I've attempted to, okay, I'll skip that. I'm trying to avoid mundane stuff. I'm adjusting my leadership style within the committee. I'm trying to delegate more of my tasks to my members. I've done a bad job about that. So I'm trying to enable instead of being a dictator. So basically I've come up with like 4 tasks roughly for the committee members to do. So basically with a few senators are on a broad effort to address student concerns about parking. The other one is health insurance rates for international students, where I have 3 international students on my committee, so they can contribute to that. Connecting students to resources, because another concern is that many students don't feel connected to the resources, and many of the resources on campus not promoted enough, so we'll hopefully work on that. And last but not least, we're hoping to address the food insecurity situation on campus. Those aren't the only things my committee will work on, but for now, that's what I've delegated responsibilities to. If you have more specific questions, hit me up.
Are there any questions for Senator Day? Senator Kirk.
Yeah, so I would just like to have a clarification of the first thing that you said about the professors, what they can and cannot say. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, but right now, because of like state legislation laws and everything that have been passed, they cannot. It's like a sticky situation for them to be able what they can and cannot do. Is that what you said? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So is that what is that why is that what they said? Why they are not making it mandatory?
Well, it's not just that's not mandatory. It's like the under the law, it has to be done through the county health office, as I understand it. So it's
Yeah.
not optional. So at least from what I've been told. So
But through it would be through the county health office, not the university.
correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood you.
And keep in mind, this is based on what I've been told by the university. I don't know specifically from personal experience. So
Yeah. Okay.
Are there any other questions for Senator Day? Great, we can move on to item F. Senator Perkins, your report.
Yeah, so okay, try to keep it somewhat brief, but I reached out to all of the Greek life and a handful of RSOs about doing more of these sort of education presentations. We've got a few scheduled for early next week. I reached out to Housing and Residence Life about some get out the vote efforts in those facilities. I got a response that due to their sales solicitation and posting policy, they will have to deny, but we've worked around with maybe some tabling, some dropping off voter registration forms in those buildings, and then also working with an activities organization within those, trying to do some workarounds to some policies is basically what I'm saying. I don't have to go on too much about it. Today in our committee, the Vice President Watkins Public Strategy spoke with our committee about lobbying and some advice on how to, because at the end of the day, lobbying is just advocating. So how to get young people involved in advocacy for their needs, their interests, all those things, because I think that can kind of seem like an intimidating thing for people in a younger age demographic. So don't have to go too much in detail on that. We also had a couple voter registration events. So we had one last Saturday and this Tuesday. The one yesterday was quite a bit more successful. Not as successful as we would have liked, but because of COVID, there's not very many people on campus. So I think it was overall quite a success. Then we also, or I also created a calendar for our committee, which I think is going to be helpful. It's like a week by week spreadsheet of what our committee and just events going on in the committee relevant to government relations. So I think that's going to be helpful. I also discussed with our committee today creating a survey. So we've set up like monthly meetings with our representatives, our WC representatives, and I want to put together some sort of survey that can go out to a larger student body so that we can be actually representing the interests of WC students in a way that just goes beyond like our personal interactions with students on campus and our constituents. I'd like to get a broader feel for the climate and what students are concerned about, because at the end of the day, like it's just a small number of us that are representing the interests of supposedly like 16,000 students, and I think that's an important thing. So anyway, that's something that we're going to be setting up, hopefully. And yeah, I think with that, that's about what I've been working on this past week, but I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Senator Perkins. Are there any questions? Senator Day.
all right, so this is more of a clarification, but you indicated that there are certain housing policies that have prevented housing from allowing you to or allowing certain levels of voter registration events in housing. Could you clarify that a little bit?
Sorry, struggling to unmute. Yeah, so my original hope was that we would be able to go like door to door within housing and encourage students to have like a voting plan, essentially, like how are they going to vote, how they're requesting an absentee ballot, all the details that go into that. I don't have to list it, but I was hoping to like actually talk to students, but that's considered solicitation, and that goes against the sales solicitation and posting policy that Housing Residence Life currently holds. And they said for that reason they will have to deny our opportunity to do that, but they offered the opportunity to table. And I think I'm working to get some voter registration forms at the front desk of some of these. It's not ideal, but that was the response given to me by Housing and Residence Life. I don't know if that clarifies anything.
Great. Are there any other questions for Senator Perkins? Senator Day, do you have another question, or is your hand still raised from the last one?
My hand was raised, my bad.
Okay. Great, we can move on to item G. Senator Majors, your report.
All right, yeah, so I'll keep it concise as well. Speaker Babin mentioned that there will be some important bills coming up next week, so it's important to be there. One of those bills that was worked on by my committee is actually known as the Scram Act, and it's basically everything that we've done so far in regards to the bylaw changes, or I guess creation, since there technically are no bylaws regarding the Supreme Court currently, at least for Article 3. So we'll be creating that. We have formally held a vote, as well as finalized our legislation on that. So that'll be coming next week, as well as we have forwarded a organization, registered student organization status, to the Senate for next week. We've passed or recommended to pass. And then also you'll be seeing the Scholarship Committee Transferal Act, which we have also forwarded with a recommendation to pass. At least that's what's been going on in the committee that you'll see next week. Also, there are a lot of other RSOs that are requesting registered student organization status. We've got a Kuwaiti student organization, a K-pop student organization, as well as a student association for supply chain management. So a lot of what I've been doing is reaching out to these organizations and writing the legislation for those organizations. So that's what you'll be seeing from the Ways and Means Committee in the next few weeks.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Senator Majors? Cool. Seeing none, we can move on to item 11, association reports. Item A, Vice President Haas, your report.
Hi, everyone. I hope your Wednesday is going well. I will be reporting on behalf of Cabinet. So the Director of Media does not have any reports. She has just been working on, again, the videos that have been going out on social media every week. And then our Director of Public Relations has been working on the virtual town hall that will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. It is a town hall made up of Dr. Hall, Camille Childers, Katie Austin, and that's it. That will serve on the panel, and it'll be moderated by me. So tune in and ask your questions that you have for those three people. Anything about COVID is great. So also he has been working with the Director of Media and the DEI chair to finalize Latinx Heritage Month. And okay, our treasurer wrote a whole long paragraph, so I'll read it. I had a lot of great meetings this week. First, Gabe and I met with the budget officer for this new proposal for the student fees process, just to see if there was anything that we would need to think about or tweak to make it work. They seemed really excited about this process, which is good. So second, President Khan and I met with K-State Treasurer and President to talk about their process, since we will be modeling this proposal after theirs. We just talked about the pros and cons of the process and things that they would change. Tomorrow, President Khan and I will be attending the WSU Student Insurance Advisory Committee, and we have been working on a lot of research and what to expect with this upcoming year. So lastly, the Student Fees Task Force will meet this Friday with the VP of Student Affairs to discuss the proposal. And then as for the task force on the Black student experience, we are going to be pushing a survey out soon to our Black identifying students, and I would like to thank them for their hard work on that. Other than that, fun stuff, I have been talking to individuals and organizations about funding. For my report, I have finally finished with the hiring committee for the Vice President of Diversity and Human Resources. I'm very confident about the candidates moving forward, and I'm very excited to see who the president chooses. I'm also working on reinstituting the Health and Wellness Advisory Board. It will have student representatives. So if yourself or any of your constituents are interested, please send them my way. It's an advisory board made up of the directors of Student Health Services, CAPS, the YMCA, and the HESCT. It'll be just mostly for goal setting and brainstorming for the next couple of years for those departments. Additionally, the diversity and local politics panel went really well last week, so go watch it on YouTube if you were unable to attend. And then President Khan and I are still sitting in the Clinton Hall renovation meetings, and Ellie touched on our meeting that we had earlier in the week as well, so I won't go into detail there. For President Khan's report, the future building update, the student services building is making good progress. We have decided on departments that we want in Clinton Hall, depending on the space available. Hopefully, once the plan is fully ready, we will be able to share more details with you all. The student multicultural space has had some setbacks, but myself and President Khan have been persistent in our efforts to advocate for the building. And again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And some things, we'll have more details probably in the next 2 weeks about that. So any K-Board, her K-Board update. I've been conducting a lot of work on the K-Board level by collecting data, remaining in contact with other presidents to keep them updated, and have been meeting with K-Board presidents to create a connection between the students in Kansas and K-Board. About student insurance, I have to look at a lot of documents relating to student health insurance to advocate for this service to improve on campus and state level. Wish me luck, so please send luck her way. For the shared governance document, she is completed, but now we wait on others to complete their documents. And once we have everyone's part, there will be a larger committee to conduct an overview of that. And then for free speech principles, the work continues. Something we're looking forward to is Wednesday on September 30th at 1 p.m. President Khan has been asked to speak and share her vision for the community village idea. She will be doing so, and so if anyone wants to mention anything that they would like to see us advocate for in regards to the community village, which is mostly just community engagement with our actual community that we are in around Wichita State, please reach out to her for that. Also, she has done other video work for other areas on campus, and if you see her in a video, feel free to tag her. Okay, that is all, and I stand for questions if you have any.
Are there any questions for Vice President Haas? Great, seeing none, we can move on to item B, Advisor Fonseca, your report.
Good evening, everyone. Good meeting today. I would just like to echo a little bit what Senator Majors and Speaker Babin shared last week. Next week, there's a lot on the agenda. And so please make sure that you are reading those things. There are significant items on the agenda. So please make sure that you're taking time to read them when they come out and prepare for questions, et cetera, on that. Second, next week, you'll also, for the first time, be hearing from 3 other different people. So Caitlin Hammock, who's our student advocate, will come to the Senate to give her monthly report. Zachary James, who is our treasurer, will come to the Senate to provide a quarterly financial report for the student government. So interesting numbers that he'll share with you all, as well as Odalis Asensia, who is our Chief Justice, will come to the Senate to provide her monthly report as well to you all. So that should be super exciting to hear from those faces. There's a lot going on within Senate and Cabinet. So I encourage you all, especially for those who are working on some big projects, making sure that you're taking care of yourself and supporting each other through the different projects that you are working on. As the year goes on, things will get busier, things will get heavier. And so hopefully you're taking some time to take care of yourself in the process as well. We're going to be doing another game night in October. As of right now, Olivia is currently winning, and then Zachary James coming in second. And there's a tie for third, but we're not going to get into that. So just make sure that if you are wanting to participate in those, we'll do another one in October. Super chill, super fun, super engaging, whatever. It's a good time. I like it. So I feel like other people who were there enjoyed it as well. Last part, I put in a Google form in the group me for the Senate. If you were the one tagged on that, please make sure you fill that out. For our new senators who just got confirmed today, I will reshare that on there because we are going to be ordering the new t-shirts, and we're going to place those ordered next week. So I want to get everyone's t-shirt sizes correct on there so that we can finally get you out the packages that we've been waiting on for a little bit. But we have all those things ready to go so that we can get those to you this week as well, or next week as well. And then the last thing, election commission applications are open. We are already talking about and getting ready for the election for next year because it takes us that long to prepare it. So if you have any of your peers who are not senators or current Supreme Court justices or executive members who are interested in serving on the Elections Commission, please direct them to our website, and the applications are open. They are paid positions, so those should be a good time to run the student government elections in the spring next year. And with that, I will stand for any questions.
Are there any questions for Advisor Fonseca, Senator Day?
Yeah, a super minor thing. In terms of the election, I checked the website recently. I do not see the election results from for this session on there. There is the presidential results, but that's it. Will there be any updates about that at some point?
Yes, there will be. We are revamping that page, so I took it off just because I forgot to hit publish. But yes, we will put those the entire results on there from the last election.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions for Advisor Fonseca? Great, seeing none, we can move on to item 12, remarks and announcements. Does anyone have any remarks and announcements? Senator Flores.
Hi, yeah. I feel like it's been like a really eventful week, just like for a lot of things like happening nationally. Like Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, and I know that a lot of people have been like really deeply affected, and she made a lot of important decisions, like on immigration, like healthcare, reproductive rights. And if those are things that you care about, I encourage you to find ways that you can support that locally. And nationally, I know that the Immigration Student Advocacy Organization on campus is about to conduct a fundraiser for HIAS, which is an organization that I can vouch for. It's the Hebrew Immigration Aid Society, which is like, they've existed since the 1800s, since like 1881, I believe. They've done like a lot of work to help immigrants to provide free legal aid to immigrants both in the US and like worldwide. They do a lot of great work. They're a nonprofit, and like they're really transparent. Like a lot of nonprofits are really shady, so be careful about which ones you donate to. But they have like really good transparency as to like where funds get allocated. So I would just encourage everyone to keep an eye out for the fundraiser that ISAO is about to start doing. If that is something that you care about, if you care about immigration. I also wanted to, I know that there's like a decision made today regarding whether to prosecute a lot of or to prosecute some of the police officers regarded in the Breonna Taylor shooting. And I just wanted to make sure that people know that a way to like support that beyond just like signing petitions, the Louisville bail, community bail fund is something that is a good way to show support to people who are protesting that right now, which I think should be happening. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Senator Flores. Senator Perkins.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick note about voting. I just wanted to remind everyone that the deadline to register to vote is less than 3 weeks away. So please be talking to your constituents about registering to vote. I know that not everyone is super excited about every race, but there's so many down ballot races that really matter. No matter where you fall in that, it's just really important that you're encouraging all of your constituents to be registering to vote. There's a lot of local and state elections that people really care about and should care about if you don't already. So please get engaged yourself and be encouraging those around you to get engaged too. It's just really important. And also, if you are registered to vote, request your advance ballot to vote safely from your home and then mail your ballot back. Please, please. Okay.
Thank you, Senator Perkins. Senator Kirk.
Hi. So yeah, something that I just started working on because it was just got my attention today. Someone contacted me about bringing cancer awareness to the College of Fine Arts, and wanting to get all the different colleges without the whole entire university, getting them to push that just because everyone has this stigma with cancer that it's just it brings everyone down. Now it does. I myself have cancer, but I'm here doing stuff. There are many other people on campus that have this, that deal with the same thing. And what we're trying to do is just remind people, the people that are going through it, the people that are affected with it by their families, that just because it's in your life or by any means does not mean you're gone yet. Doesn't mean that anything negative will happen. It's there. So a song that we're doing in the School of Music is take appreciation of today, do what you can, and keep moving forward. So one big thing that we are doing is that we are going to hold something huge, but I'm getting some of the band members, the pep band, and some of the choir members, and we're going to just be loud and proud and just get people's attention. I want to encourage everyone. As soon as I have more information about this, I will definitely keep on letting you guys know about this. This is something I am very, very passionate about. If you have any questions about exactly what I'm doing, save it until next week because I really don't know yet. But please, if you would like to help, reach out to me. I don't want to do this alone, but this is something that I'm definitely crazy about.
Thank you, Senator Kirk. Are there any other remarks and announcements? Reminder, this is a time for any senator to bring forward information they want to share about any events on campus, just anything that you would like to talk about. Now is the time for you to bring it up for the whole Senate. Well, if there are no more from other people, I have a couple. So I want to remind everyone the importance of keeping your camera on during these meetings. If you are a senator, you do need to have your camera on for the full duration of the meeting. There are Kansas Open Meetings Act concerns with having our cameras off for transparency reasons. So you do have to have it on the full meeting unless you are specifically asked by me to turn it off like we did in the beginning. Otherwise, you need to have your camera on for the full meeting. Yeah, so that's really important. To make sure you turn in your senator hours, due at midnight. There are a couple of you who has not turned in any senator hours. Not cool. It's so easy. You just fill out a form. I accept most things as senator hours, so please fill out the form on Shocker Sync. If you haven't been filling out the form, I will be reaching out to you and we will be having some discussions about it because there's not a lot of things you have to do, but that's one of them. Yeah, we have really important legislation that's coming up. We're making huge changes on our university and within Student Government Association this session. A lot of things are happening. And so please do your due diligence, do your research, everything that you need to do, do the work. It's not hard to read through legislation and come up with questions or create an opinion on it. It's really important work that we're doing. So please keep up with that. Oh, sorry, I told everyone the meeting was on Tuesday. That was my bad. Not the brightest bulb here today. Anyway, meetings are always Wednesdays at 7. They're not going to be any other time or day. So that's what it's going to be. Yeah, remember that if you're going to miss a meeting, you got to tell me about it at least 24 hours in advance. You only get to miss 3 meetings a session, so not a semester, the full session. And that includes your committee meetings. So if you've missed a bunch of committee meetings, that counts towards your absence requirement. So please show up or let me know if you can't be there. That's what I have. Anyone else have any other remarks and announcements? Senator Sahel.
The only question is, is there a possibility of uploading or sending the email including the package and the senator package early than just like 2 days before?
No, I'm going to be honest, probably not, because I don't get legislation until Monday at noon. Well, Monday at noon is my deadline for people to send me legislation. So that's usually around when I get it. So I won't know what is going to be on the thing. Yeah, I just don't know what's going to be on it more than 2 days out. Honestly, 24 hours is hard sometimes. But yeah, you will always get it at least 24 hours in advance. But I'll try and send out next week's as early as possible because I know there's a lot on it. Are there
Thank
any
you.
other remarks and announcements? Okay, awesome. So with that, we can do our final roll call. We are doing this through the iClicker Reef app, so just click whichever response feels right to you. Doesn't matter. I will wait for everyone to respond. If you don't respond on iClicker, you will be counted absent. Not good. Please fill out the form. Still waiting on a couple people. I will give it about 10 more seconds. All right. Thank you all very much. Senator Eyrig did send an announcement in the chat, so I'm going to read that to everyone, or Senator Perkins, I'm sorry. The Coke Arena will be an early voting site on the 20th, so make sure to share that with people. Early voting is super great. There's never any lines. I love early voting. It's way easier than voting on actual voting day. Say your vote's counted the exact same, so it doesn't really matter. Senator Eyrig, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, I noticed when I went to do final attendance that it says I have like 5 out of 7 points in iClicker. Does that matter?
No, that's all, like, yeah, none of that actually matters. The other stuff is like, yeah, no, that doesn't matter. I will always see what questions you answered and stuff like that. So the scoring thing it's BS. Don't worry about it. Okay, with that, I call the 8th meeting of the 63rd session to end at 8:03 p.m. Thank you all very much. You can all go. I'm not sure I understand. You guys are all good.
Oh, okay.
I got nothing for
I
you.
just have to wait until people okay, because the live stream is 10 seconds behind.